Hey everybody, welcome back to Red Mug Music. I'm Brian, and today we're going to talk about the Police. We're going to talk about the band, the Police. You know, the Police that was formed in 1977 in London with Sting, Andy Summers on guitar, and Stuart Copeland playing drums, and Sting played the bass. I've always admired bands that were able to pull off the trio. And like a real trio, it's just a bass, just a guitar, just drums, and because they've got to be really good musicians, and they have to really work off of each other because they got to fill in the gaps. There's going to be a lot of gaps. It's really difficult. They're just a great band. And so that's why I wanted to cover them today. So the Police, I remember them back when I was young, even well before MTV. Video shows that came on late at night. I remember like Friday night I'd stay up and watch music videos, and Saturday night I'd watch music videos, and MTV didn't even exist yet. But one of the only bands that I actually do really remember was the Police. That was the band that really they were on those shows a lot, and I got a lot of exposure to them. I would say I know they come from a punk background, and it's a lot of reggae and a lot of jazz influences. So all those put together really came up with a nice sound that was pretty much unmatched. Like, I don't think it was anything else like that. They came more out of a punk, the punk scene, which they got a lot of flack because they weren't real punk, but they were kind of punk. But basically, they were just doing their own thing, and that's why we're talking about them today, because they did their own thing, and they kind of burned the way and pioneered, the way to a complete new sound that we're still talking about today. And this happened, the first album came out in, I think, 1978. So, the Police is definitely worthy. Actually, they were inducted in the Hall of Fame, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, in 2004, which was the first year they were even submitted for Hall of Fame. And another interesting fact, I know they only have 5 albums, but 4 of those 5 albums actually landed on the Rolling Stone magazine 500 greatest albums of all time. And I look at this list a lot because it gives me ideas of albums to listen to, and I really think you have to have been you have to create something really good to be on that list. So 4 out of 5 landed on that list. Now, can you tell me which album didn't make that list? So pause the video, comment down below, don't cheat, comment down below on which album you think didn't actually make that list. I'll wait. Well, you paused it, so I didn't really have to wait, but I did anyway. All right, you done? You got it written down? But like I'm saying, the Police had the ability to create some of the best singles I've ever heard in my life. I mean, they have, even though they started in 1978, they're pretty much considered one of the, biggest bands that came out of the 80s. And they cranked out these radio hits right and left. Every album, they had at least 2 songs that were absolutely amazing, and some of them were way more than that. But they were also capable of creating a lot of stinkers, and it's really strange. It's like I don't really understand how a band that can create a song, like can come out with a song, Don't Stand So Close to Me, or Wrapped Around Your Finger, and then also come out with, they didn't release them, but some of the songs on their albums that just fell way short of what I would consider of anything that I would think that they would write. So it's just kind of boggling, the spectrum of music that they put out. Well, anyway, I'll point out those stinkers when I go through the rankings. So let's get started. Let's do that now. We'll start with number 5. Number 5, and I'll go ahead and tell you, this is the one album. And I didn't know this when I ranked it. Actually, I don't even know how these rank by like major publications, music publications. I have no idea. This is my ranking. I've got my own system where I rank everything, all the songs A through F. A is the legendary, B is great, C is good, still good. D is what I consider questionable, It's almost like you just can't really decide if it's good or bad. And F is just a failure. It's just, it shouldn't have been on the album. The only album to not hit the Rolling Stone magazine 500 greatest albums of all time was the Zenyatta Mondatta. It came out in 1980. Zenyatta Mondatta had Don't Stand So Close to Me and Do 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 Da 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 Da. They were absolutely legendary, and they're still popular today. But a lot of the album is just what I would consider good. And the stinker, what I would consider the stinker, is Behind My Camel. I don't think it's a great track. I don't think it's one of their best efforts, but it's still a good album. Actually, it's so good, I own it, believe it or not. So I definitely like The Police, because even the album that I consider the worst, I have it. So anyway, Zenyatta Mondatta, number 5. Number 4 is Reggatta de Blanc. That one has songs like Message in a Bottle, Walking on the Moon. I mean, again, some of the best releases ever. I mean, you just can't get much better than these songs. But a lot of it is still what I would consider just good. Not legendary, not great, just a lot of the album is good, but of course Message in a Bottle and Walking on the Moon I consider legendary, and I don't think anybody could disagree with that. But I think the stinker on the album is On Any Other Day, which is actually a pretty good song. I just don't really understand the way they sang it. It's just a little goofy. So I just never really could listen to that song. But if they could just redo the singing part, I think the music is great. But anyway, number 4, Reggatta de Blanc. Okay, number 3. Number 3 is Outlandos d'Amour. That was their debut album, and it's the one that has Roxanne and Can't Stand Losing You, which I consider the legendary songs on there. But the stinker, I would say, is Masoka Tanga. I just find that song to be kind of monotonous. It just keeps going and going and going and going. It doesn't really change a lot, so I find myself not listening to it. But all in all, it's a pretty good album, and I really enjoy it. Okay, number 2. Number 2 goes to Ghost in the Machine, and actually, I've got that one too. This is the original from 1981, was it? Yeah, 1981. And it's got stuff, songs like Spirits in the Material World. Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic. I mean, it's a really, really good song. I consider everything on here to be either legendary, great, or good. I don't think anything is questionable or bad. It's a solid album. Really enjoy that one, and I listen to it quite a bit. So that leaves me with number 1. Number 1 to me is Synchronicity. I don't know how it couldn't be. They created a lot of really good stuff that was on this album. Synchronicity to me is an absolute fabulous album. I don't really know why I don't have that one. I don't own that record. I mean, it has Synchronicity, and actually my favorite song that the Police do or have ever done, Synchronicity 2. That's actually my favorite song. It's got Every Breath You Take. It's got King of Pain. It's got Wrapped Around Your Finger, but it also has what I consider. I've ranked a handful of albums for bands, including Duran Duran, Kiss, AC/DC, and Alice in Chains, which you can check out in my video selection. So you should go check those out if you're interested. Maybe Duran Duran, but this album, I awarded the only F that I've ever given out so far from ranking all these albums that I've done so far. And you probably already, if you're a Police fan, maybe you already know what it is. But Mother, I think, is an absolute stink bomb. I don't know what he was thinking there. Maybe there's some logical explanation, but I'm not really ranking ideas. I'm not ranking, what's behind the song. I'm ranking the song itself, the musical ability, the musical, what it offers, what it, when you listen to it, what do you hear? That's what I'm looking at. And Mother falls short of in every category you can possibly think of. It's just the worst. But even though it's got that, even though I ranked that an F, Synchronicity was still the best album. So I would definitely recommend Synchronicity. Actually, my recommendation is to listen to The Police like in a greatest hits format. That's how I get my fix. I just listen to the greatest hits album. So to recap, number 5 was Zenyatta Mondatta. Number 4 was Reggatta de Blanc. Number 3 was Outlandos d'Amour. Number 2 was Ghost in the Machine. And number 1 was Synchronicity. That's how I ranked The Police studio albums. I only did studio albums. I don't like to group in live albums. I know a lot of times I get comments like, how about this album or this album? These are just studio albums. Well, that's it for this week. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Don't forget, you can follow me on Instagram at Red Mug Music. You can also follow me on Facebook, facebook.com/Red Mug Music. Also, you can email me, redmugmusic@gmail.com, if you'd like to have a Red Mug Music decal. I'll send that out to you. Just leave me your name and your address, and I'll make sure I got one coming your way. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, even share it on Facebook or however, whatever kind of social media you have. I would appreciate it if you even share it, because I'm still trying to grow the channel, so I would really appreciate that. Comment down below. Just do all those great things that you do on YouTube, and I would appreciate it. So again, thanks for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you guys next week.